Hello, what is up? What's good? Welcome in to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast Thursday edition alongside Stern Bets. Drew DeLucchi, I'm the Prince of Picks. Happy World Cup Day. We finally made it. We are kicking off the World Cup this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait. I've been counting it down for the years now, 4 years in the making. So we finally made it. We've got some plays for you guys that we'll be covering shortly here for the slate for tomorrow's games. Of course, we've got the NBA to recap as well. What a game last night. Incredible comeback from the New York Knicks in that series. We'll definitely have some thoughts for that. We got some action in the major leagues as well. Some great games here across the landscape of the Major League Baseball. NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup Finals, I believe, as well, is in action tonight as well. We got a 2-2 series in that one. So a lot of sports here to cover, of course, the WNBA as well. So we'll get into it here shortly. Once again, I am joined by Mr. Mosh, Mr. Stern. What's up, dude? Good morning. How's the weather out there in Philly, dude? We're looking at some pretty strong storms here in Chicago area. So, how you guys doing out there?
Knicks. Who
cares about the weather, right?
Don't give a crap. Don't give a crap. There's only one thing on my mind. I have never been more excited as a fan of the New York Knicks. Now, they were all right growing up, but they were never dominant. They never had any runs when I was watching them that really made me excited to really watch, to be a real full-fledged fan. Obviously, I always rooted for the Knicks, but never in my life have I ever been more excited and emotionally invested as I was last night. When there was like a few moments there in the fourth quarter towards the end where I could not help but scream or yell and shout in my basement at from 11 to 12-ish. And my wife was getting so mad at me that I wouldn't be able to keep the volume down. She was like, I don't care that the Knicks haven't been here before and that they're probably going to win for the first time in 50 plus years. It was just, what a comeback. That's the second hugest comeback by the Knicks in 2 consecutive series. Unreal.
Well, not only that, but it was the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. No team has ever come back down from 29 points in an NBA Finals game and won. They're the first team to do it.
It was 29 points, right? Because I heard some analysts being like, oh, it was 24. And I was like, I'm pretty sure they were down by almost 30.
Yeah.
That was unreal. I loved what your reaction was. I listened to it afterwards. I didn't realize you were going live, but I did listen to it afterwards. And you're right. It was a complete choke job by San Antonio. That was one of the worst halves of basketball I've ever seen in my entire life. It looked like they were my high school basketball team playing against a professional league. Turnovers, sloppy play, didn't try to hold the ball by any stretch of the imagination. Knicks weren't really pressing. They were, but they weren't really pressing. That was just unreal. You know what? Can you just give us a reaction, and we'll go into MLB, because I do have an early play today that's going off at 1 p.m., so I do want to get that out as fast as I can. But just give me a little bit of your reaction from last night, and then we can move on happy and satisfied.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give a condensed version because I went on for about 10 minutes last night. I'm definitely not going to do that now. So I'll give a condensed version of the next day here after I've slept on everything and kind of give it a different perspective. To your point, the Spurs absolutely choked this. And I thought we saw 2 different games. First half, Spurs looked like a different team. They were the ones that were just swarming defensively. Knicks couldn't get anything going offensively. Jalen Brunson looked like he was in a tight suit. He couldn't get anywhere. Didn't matter who they put on him. They were just absolutely suffocating him on every possession. He was trying to get the screen and roll, and they were fighting through the pick. Wouldn't let him get off, Stephon Castle or Devin Vassell or Dylan Harper or whoever they put on him. It was just a defensive factory, really, from the Spurs in the first half. And then for whatever reason, they just got complacent, and I think that speaks to their youth and their inexperience. I think they kind of thought that it was over. They should know better. Like I said, the Knicks are a team that have gone on long runs before. They beat the Hawks. They were up by 50 at the half against Atlanta in Game 6. So the U.S. Spurs shouldn't have forgotten about that. This is a Knicks team that at any point can go on big runs, and that's exactly what they did. The Spurs gave them life, and the Knicks took it at home. You never want to give a team life, and that's what the Spurs did with their bad shot selection. You're absolutely right. It wasn't so much that the Knicks were like playing this great defense that forced the Spurs into bad shots. The Spurs were just taking bad shots. and they were very careless with the ball. Careless turnovers, lackadaisical with the control of the ball, lackadaisical with their passing decisions. Just really, really careless basketball from the Spurs. And once the door was open, once the Knicks started getting back, then the Knicks started ratcheting up their defense, and then you saw a totally different defensive performance from the Knicks for the rest of the game. But yeah, I don't know how you come back from this into your Spurs. I really, really don't. I mean, I know we've had big collapses already in the playoffs, and we say that every time, but you're talking about a chance to tie the series after you blew your first two games at home. And after what just happened, now you're down 3-1. Now you got to win three straight against a team that has only lost one game in their last, what, 13, 14, 15 games in the playoffs? Talking about the
15.
Knicks. 15, right? So they're 14-1 now on a 14-1 run in the playoffs. I mean, good luck to the Spurs. If they can do it, then Wemby's going to go down as the greatest player in NBA history already. But I don't. I'm betting against that. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Mainly because of just how everything played out last night. I just don't know. Just from a mental standpoint, how you bounce back from such an epic collapse. Was literally a historic collapse.
Yeah, that is 100%. But you know what? We cashed 3 units or 2.5 units last night in the NBA. You had Spurs team total over 107.5. Well done, right? They covered that, I'm pretty sure.
No, they missed it
Oh,
by
they
like one
didn't?
point.
Oh, they were
I
so
I
on track.
I,
Okay,
I
so we went
couldn't.
2-1 in the NBA.
Hold on, I gotta speak to that real quick because that part did take me off because they only scored 30 points, 30 points in the second half. I mean, they were well on their way to covering it. And then of course because of their decision making in the second half, they didn't even come. Didn't get there when they should have. Yet they only scored 30 points in the second half, which is embarrassing.
Oh, that's brutal. I'm sorry. But we did hit 2 plays. Our main man Drew hit Darren Fox over 23.5 PRA. And we hit as a show Dylan Harper over 13.5 points. I mean, Dylan Harper was on fire last night.
We've
That
hey,
was a
we've been on.
very positive regression by definition.
Yeah, we've been on him. I mean, he's had a great playoffs, and so he's someone you want to back for sure. I mean, even if he has an off night, he's likely to bounce back the next night. That's exactly what he did last night. So shout out to Dylan Harper. He's definitely making a name for himself.
Yeah. All right. Let's recap yesterday real quick. I went 0-1 Dodgers. Wow. When you talk about a choke job, they gave up 8 runs. They were up 7 runs and they gave up 8 runs. Man, that was just brutal. Brutal. 8 runs combined in the 7th and 8th inning. They did make an attempt to come back in the top of the 9th, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later when we get into our MLB plays of the day. Drew, welcome in. We already talked about Fox cashing. How did George Kirby do yesterday? I think you went 1-1. They should have taken him out and they just kind of let him in, right?
Yeah, I went 1-1 of the day. Fox hit. George Kirby one didn't make sense to me because they let him go 104 pitches. To put that in perspective, guys, George Kirby had 13 starts before his last start, and the highest pitch. Where is it right here? Yeah, the highest pitch count he had was like 98 or like 99. He hasn't pitched 100 pitches in a game at all this year besides that year, which didn't make sense. And also to the fact, if you look at, because he was partially hurt last year too. If you even look at last year, he only pitched 100 pitches, I think like 3 times. So just
Yeah,
very unfortunate bad beat. And it's not like he was lights out either.
no, he wasn't. I was surprised that they kept him in. I did have the Mariners in that game, so that didn't really help me out either in that. Whatever. Next.
And then, of course, Ketel Marte. Of course, Ketel Marte hit a home run because the Diamondbacks didn't score any runs. So,
Yeah, that was
um,
brutal. Expect to bounce back coming up today. I do like that. Prince, how did you do yesterday? And then we're going to go straight into MLB. We do have a guest speaker today, which I'm very excited to hear about. Japan. He's going to come and talk UFC 250. But Prince, how did you do yesterday?
Yeah, had a little bit of an off day yesterday. We went 2-3 after going 3-2 on Tuesday. We went 2-3 yesterday. The plays that we did hit, we've been on fire with the WNBA plays. They continue to cash. That hit once again last night. We had Kelsey Plum 5+ assists with the Toronto Temple on the money line. We had that parlay at -150 that cashed. Like I said, we just barely missed the Spurs team total of 107.5. How that missed, I don't know, but it did miss. We also hit on Afghanistan. They played Pakistan in an international friendly in soccer. We had their team total under 0.5. They did not score, so we hit on that one as well. But unfortunately, Pakistan did score, so we missed on that. We missed on the Spurs team total, and then we missed on our 3-team parlay. We had the Cubs, White Sox, and Rangers team totals over 2.5. Guess which one of those teams actually hit over 2.5, Mosh?
I know. I'm actually betting on them today. They've been consistent. You know what? I'm actually going to talk about them later today, in about less than 3 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah, happy, excited to hear it. Yeah, our Texas Rangers, our beloved Texas Rangers, were the only team that ended up clearing that parlay. So we'll see if we can bounce back today.
I'm looking forward to it. Last day of international soccer. See ya. Welcome, World Cup. All right, let's get into MLB. I have 2 plays for you today. I expect the Dodgers, kind of mentioned this earlier. I expect the Dodgers to bounce back. They were oh so close to coming back in the top of the 9th, but alas, didn't fall through. But Pirates aren't likely to score 8 runs in the last few innings, 2 games in a row. Justin Robletsky is facing Mitch Keller. They actually have very similar underlying metrics, clear pitch to contact profiles, low whiff, low strikeouts, low walks, good barrel rates. However, they both have trouble with the hard hit rate. And they've also shown the ability to each let innings slip away from them for big offensive productions. The difference here is how often those big innings kind of happen. When you're looking at Robletsky, he's only given up 2 5+ earned run outings. Outside of that, he's only given up 2+ runs twice for the season. Keller, on the other hand, has given up 4 5+ earned run outings and allowing multiple runs in 8 other games as well. I believe he's only had prevented opponents from scoring 2+ runs twice in this entire season. Keller's quite a bit struggled at home. He has a 5.22 ERA here at Petco. Sorry, forgot the name for a second. In Pittsburgh, I think the Dodgers will close this series out with a bounce back win. So I'm taking the Dodgers -1.5 at +105 over an MGM. Before I get to my second play, which I don't normally have, Drew or Prince? Drew, any thoughts on this?
No, no thoughts on it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I just want to give as much time for the better team to kind of even out an average. That's why I didn't go with the first 5 or first 7 line, which I also did consider. My second play here is going to take on the Cardinals, Mets, Rangers, Royals. Both of these games over 7.5 parlay together +105. I'm taking this at 0.75 units, not quite a full unit, just because of the added risk of having a parlay here, which I don't generally recommend. But we have 2 great games with incredible hitting conditions. We have wind blowing out 20 miles per hour with 85-degree weather in Kansas City. And then when you go to New York, you have 10 miles per hour blowing out with 90-degree temperature. Let me tell you, here in Philadelphia, it is hot and humid. The ball is going to be flying. So let me get to the Royals game first here. It's very interesting. Both of the home teams here have really good pitchers on the mound, and I'm still fading them anyway. Michael Wacha is getting the start for the Royals. And I get it. You know, he's Michael Wacha, Waka. But he has given up 10+ runs. He has given up 10 runs over his last 2 games alone. He has also given up multiple runs in 8 of his last 10 games. This is a complete reversal from the beginning of the season where he had a phenomenal start. I don't know if it's the cold, but if you're going to go into the heat today, I think he's going to have trouble. Even if he does pitch well, how long before the Royals' bottom-ranked bullpen takes over? I don't trust them. The Rangers, to their credit, Prince, have been hitting very consistently. So I like the Rangers to kind of get to him early. Then you're looking at the other side here. Kumar Rocker is pitching for the Rangers. I don't trust him, plain and simple. Underlying metrics are bad across the board. He has a 4.66 ERA on the road. There's nothing about him that tells me that he's going to prevent Kansas City, who is starting to get hot and hits generally better at home. I don't care about the bullpens, nothing like that. I think we're going to see 8+ runs easy. Second game here in New York. And again, like I said, on the surface, you're getting a really good pitcher in his home environment. Christian Scott has been unbelievable this year, but he does actually pitch worse at home. He has a 3.27 ERA. Again, not terrible, but I'm interested to see how this humidity, which is extreme, affects his control, which has been his biggest issue today. He has an 11.5% walk rate, and if that goes a little bit up, he's going to be in trouble against a team that will be able to hit him. The Cardinals have been hot lately. They've scored 5+ runs in the last 6 games in a row. Now, I will say, Scott is from Florida, so he might be acclimated to the humidity better than others. But what I'm really concerned about is his ground ball rate in these extreme hitting environments. It's sitting at 29.8%. That is terrible. The top pitchers in the league are nearly double that. So I really just think that the Cardinals are going to be able to get to him today, primarily due to the very below average hard hit rate that he is starting to tend to, combined with the low ground ball rate. I think it's going to get into trouble. On the other side, Hunter Dobbins is really my real fade target here. He's pitching for St. Louis. Now, he's pitched well in his 2 last relief appearances for multiple innings, but his last start, which was only on the road, he gave up 3 runs over 4.1 innings. You're going to take his 15.5% barrel rate to a 50% hard hit rate. I think I'm going to fade those numbers every single time. Both bullpens are actually all right, but these are extremely favorable hitting conditions. And I'm sorry for going so over to this. I just got so excited and into the details last night. Anyway, Cardinals, Mets, Rangers, Royals over 7.5 parlay together for plus 105 for 7.75 units on DK. Wow, that was a lot. I apologize. Drew, any reactions, and what's your play for the day?
No reactions from me. My play of the day, we're going to the Diamondbacks Marlins. I was waiting for this guy to negatively regress like I expected. I like Mayo Kelly under 17.5 outs at plus 100. The Marlins have a really good offense. They're actually one of the top in averages. I think they have multiple people in the top 10 in average across baseball. And they know how to work counts. Merrill Kelly has, been getting lucky. The last 2 starts, he had a stretch where he had pitched 6 or more innings. The last 2 starts, he's only lasted 5 and 5.1. He also has a barrel rate of I believe 16%, which is not good at all. Hard hitter rate, we're at 45%. Expected ERA is one of the worst in the league because he has a 5 ERA. It's expected to be 7.5. So I like Merrill Kelly here. He's been giving up 7 or 8 hits every game to go under 17.5 outs.
Absolutely love it. We talked about him last time that you faded him. He has a 16.5% barrel rate to a 50% or 44.8% hard hit rate. Very, very low expected, below average expected batting average, expected slugging percentage, strikeout rate. The walk rate's high. Nothing in his underlying metrics tell me that he's going to have success. I think people are seriously undervaluing the Marlins this year. They are much better than people think, just like the White Sox yesterday. Prince. All right, Prince, what do you got for today?
Yeah, I don't have anything in the majors today.
All right, so I don't have a home run pick. I'm taking a beat on that for now. Prince or Drew, do you guys have any sprinkles today?
Nothing for me.
No sprinkles on my side.
All right, sounds good. Let's get into Prince. Where are we going next? WNBA?
Sure, we can do WNBA.
Let's
Let
do it.
me pull it up here. Let's see. Look at my plays. Yeah, all right. So WNBA today, we got 4 games. A pretty big slate here for the W. Of course, the Sky taking on the Fever, Liberty against the Dream, Phoenix Mercury taking on the Dallas Wings, and the Las Vegas Aces taking on the Fire. Again, all these games are doubling as regular season games and Commissioner's Cup. So it looks like we're in Commissioner's Cup season right now for the WNBA. Typically, you get that in the beginning of the season, same as the NBA Cup for the NBA season. But in any case here, I landed on a pretty simple parlay for me here. We're going to take a 2-team moneyline parlay. Give me the Wings at home on the money line against the Phoenix Mercury. We've talked about the Mercury before, really struggling to get out of the gates this season so far, just sitting at 4-9. They have played better recently, but they played against 2 really bad teams in Seattle and Portland. So I expect some regression again from the Mercury. The Wings at home are a much better team than they are on the road. So give me the Wings at home at 6.5 point favorites. We'll just take them on a money line, and we'll parlay that with the Vegas Aces on the money line, taking on the Portland Fire. Of course, Portland Fire, we've talked about it before. They're projected by the books to be the worst team in the season. Their win total was set at 9.5. They're already at 6, so I'm expecting some major negative regression from the Portland Fire. And I think the Aces are just significantly better than Portland. So I'll take the Aces on the money line with the Wings on the money line. That probably comes in at minus 110. And then one more play I have in the W as well. We're going to go back to the Aces Fire game. I think we see a lot of points in this one. I'll be on the over 172.5. If it's dropped, I would take that as well, of course. Main reason for that is because what the Fire do well, the Aces struggle at, and that's 3-point shooting. The Fire are actually one of the better teams shooting the 3. The Las Vegas Aces, they are not very good defending the 3, towards the bottom of the league, actually giving up 3-point shots. So for that reason, I think the Fire could potentially put up points here. I just think the Aces put up a lot more. So I'll still take the Aces on the money line, but I think we could see a high total here. So Aces Fire give me over 172.5.
Yeah, I'm blindly betting now the WNBA with you, man, and I'm putting extra units on this because it's been incredible the streak that you're on. You're hitting these at well over 60% rate. So thank you, sir. Looking forward to tonight's games. All right, let's get into the UFC 250, Freedom 250. We got our main man, Japan. Japan, can you hear me?
I'm looking
Yes,
forward
I
to
can.
this.
Oh man, so am I. And just for you guys, Japan and I feel like we kind of got started almost at the same time. I think Japan was maybe a half a year to a year earlier than me, but we've been friends and working in the same social circles for the last 3, 4 years. But highly respect everything that Japan has. I ask his advice every single week for the most part on the UFC. This man's a menace. Definitely listen to what he has to say. Sorry, Japan.
No,
What do you got for us today?
no, you're good, Mosh. I do remember the first time I came on camera, you said that's what pushed you to get you on camera. So it's a
Yes,
good
it
thing that I
was.
was able to do that. But switching over gears to UFC White House card. I don't have anything in front of me, but I'm just going to be spitballing here. But the first card, you're going to be looking at Diego and Garcia. In that one, I'll be leaning Garcia. He's coming off of a 7 fight win streak, and Diego has been put to the test with the two championship belts that he's fought for. Didn't win either one of them, and then getting through Gene Silva within his last 3 fights. So he does has a good record on there, but I think Garcia can get it done, and it's live probably on the scorecards if it goes there. Then moving into the next one, you'll have Bo Nickel. Don't let me butcher the other guy's name, but Kyle. And I think that one's probably going to be a very, very well. I'm interested to see how Bo Nickel's going to come out and fire because of his. He came out and won his last fight, so he's got to keep that rolling. I did see Bo Nickel live when he lost, and that's what kind of defeated me from him. So he's still on my. I lean towards Bo Nickel, but I'm not betting that one. And then Josh Hokett versus Derek Lewis. On that one, everyone, Josh Hokett is legit. He's a real fighter. He's a real wrestler. But his antics and everything like that, the UFC's not liking just because he's put on too much of a show and becoming WWE. So I think be prepared for this one. Balls are gonna get hot on the South Lawn on Sunday, and I'm backing Derek Lewis. He does have the KO power. I think he took his last fight not serious at all. With it being this one, I think he actually does. We've seen Derek Lewis up and down, and I think he can get it done here on the KO. You also looking at the Sean O'Malley fight. Uh, I lean the other way. I'm off sugar, and that's where in the other corner, you have GSP as a coach, and I think he's one of the best to ever do it. And they're just going to explode things in Sean O'Malley's game that he's just not going to be able to recover from. If it goes to the ground, O'Malley's not going to have no chance. The only chance he has is if it's standing. Then moving on over to you got the main card. Um, uh, I'm, I don't have anything in front of me, so just bear with me.
No problem, man. You're doing
Hold
great.
on. No, I'm going to keep talking. Let me pull up something so I can see the fights real quick and I can touch on them a little bit here.
Why don't we start with Justin Gaethje versus Ilya Topuria? That is
See,
the one that I have my eye on, and I'm very interested to hear what your thoughts are on that one.
okay. I am going to back the dog. And the only reason why that is because this year has been it's been crazy dog cashes. You saw Josh Strickland cash as a dog. I mean, crazy dogs have been cashing all year long. But I know what Ilya brings. Like I know he brings the power, and he's the live KO it's live. But
I think
just
KO is live in either direction in that one.
100%. We saw when Patty went against Gaethje, Patty couldn't do anything, and I think that maybe when Ilya gets in there to Gaethje, he might not be able to do anything. But then you back it up and you see what Max Holloway did to Gaethje, and then what Ilya did to Max Holloway. So it's like, it's kind of hard to stay on that one. I'm hoping for a good fight. But if I had to lean one way, it's probably going to be by a KO. But man, it's so hard on that one, man. So hard.
Yeah, I will say what I'm doing, and I write UFC articles. I didn't get out the last 2 weeks just because of time commitments and whatnot, but I am taking Gaethje on the money line, and then I am also taking in a parlay for the fight not to end in the card. So for the fight to be by finish by either fighter as a parlay piece that I'm going to carry on into the match. That's kind of how I saw it. I saw value on the underdog like you, and I saw value in, hey, someone's going to knock someone out.
Correct. And then going back before I get to my favorite play would be Rufy versus Chandler. And Rufy here, he's with the new fight camp. He's fighting with Alexander. So he's doing a really good training camp. Mike Chandler's a dog, but I think Rufy's going to get it. His KO is live, but with Michael Chandler being a dog, I don't think him finishing Chandler. So I think Rufy's live on the decision. And then moving to the main card, my main card, you got Pereira versus Gallon, 3-time champ, possibly. He's destroyed the middleweights. He destroyed the light heavyweights. He's moving up to heavyweight. Now with the extra weight that he carries, the only thing that worries me is going to be in the later rounds cardio-wise. It's just going to be maybe a little 25 to 30, 40 pounds that he's not worried, not we're used to carrying. So if it does get into the later rounds, I think that's where Gon might have his advantage. But if the fight stays standing, I mean, Pereira is going to finish Gon if it stays standing. Now, it's going to depend on how the fight starts. If Alex comes out mean like he just did against his last fight to win the belt in the rematch, he's going to win. But if he comes out a little timid and waits a little bit, he's probably not going to win. So within the first minute, we'll see how he attacks to see how the fight's really going to go. And I think that's how it's going to push. If Alex Pereira pushes forward, I think we have a fight, and his left hook is going to be live. And if he does win, I think this lines up for him versus John Jones. They have to make it happen.
Oh my God, that would be unbelievable.
And the only reason why I
those
say
fighters
that
lead with their most fierce attack. I
100%.
mean, there's 0 seconds in between the setup and their most dangerous attack. It is unbelievable watching those two.
Correct. And I just think that John Jones has publicly came out and said he wanted fight Pereira. So I think for that to happen, we got to get Pereira to do his job, win the belt, and he'll fight John Jones, I think, maybe in the November timeframe. And it'd probably be in New York if I had to call.
Well done, sir. Drew, do you have any thoughts? You have your hand
Oh,
raised.
I love UFC. I know I don't talk about as much in here, but I love your takes, Japan. One of the ones that you guys mentioned, I have a few leans if you don't mind. Um, let me see real quick. I have him right here. The first one was the Topuria. I like Topuria here. He's won 6 of his 9 UFC fights by KO. And think about Gaethje, he absorbs a lot of strikes, and I personally think this is a bad matchup for Gaethje overall. That would be like my first lean. My second one that I like, it's minus 180, but I think it's really good value. Mauricio Ruffino versus Chandler. I like the fight to start round 2. I think it's like minus 170, minus 180. I don't think this is there's going to be a knockout in the first round like a lot of people expect it to. And then another one that I like a lot is I have it right here. The Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dawkins. I don't. I like the fight to not go the distance for this one. I know it's minus, like in UFC, you have to take like minus 200 sometimes and stuff like that. And then the very last one, when it comes to the gain, Alex Pereira. I personally like gain. I talked with one of my buddies. I know Alex Pereira is Alex Pereira, but going to heavyweight is a completely different animal, and it's going to be very hard for him to face a person like Gain, who has a very tough chin. He has advantages personally everywhere, especially as being in the heavyweight class, and he's able to grapple when he needs to. And I just think he's going to overpower Pereira in different aspects of things. So that's my take on those.
Yeah, love it or hate it. It's going to be an action-packed night. Japan, any responses there?
No, I mean your point on with that Gon fight. I back everyone that Gon is with Gon. I see why y'all are on him. But I mean, let's hope it's a good fight. That's all I want.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah. By the way, I think every single one of these fights are going to be a good fight. Like this is the most. I feel like this is since the UFC 300. I think this is the most impressive lineup we've ever seen. Is there a better one?
I hate this. There's probably been better lineups, but then there's been better cards, but they're just not named. Like it's an
That's true.
action packed card with big names, the stars that they needed on this one. I don't want to say it's the best card of the year, because in May we had a very good card, very 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 back to back cards.
Oh,
So
yeah, we did.
so
Yeah,
it's
we
kind of
did.
hard.
We've had some really solid fight nights this year. Like
That's what I'm.
really
Yeah,
solid.
and the big
That's
ones are
true.
like in China, for whatever reason. Whenever they have a UFC in China, there's nothing but KOs. Just keep that in mind. The next one that they have in China, it's nothing but like KO, 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 finish, 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 finish,
Also,
finish, finish.
something to keep in mind about China. China won one fight. The Chinese, like, right? They
Yeah,
always try
yeah.
to pair. Chinese fighters won one fight the entire night, and it was the last fight of the night.
It was really bad for them. They were just
It was
defeated
so
each
bad.
and every fight. It happens all the time. That's all I got.
Um,
I do appreciate you most for bringing me on, and Prince. Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. And if you can send me, no pressure, but if you can send me your picks, your plays, or your write-ups, I will get it onto my UFC articles and I will put it up along with the show as well. Prince, yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I just want to say thanks to Japan as always for jumping on with us. We really appreciate it. We were trying to get him on for a while, so I'm glad he was finally able to make some time for us. I've been following him ever since DTL was a thing, and learned a lot from him actually about the UFC and about MMA and all that. So really enjoy listening to your takes, man. Like I said, I'm still very much a novice at this, but I learn every time that you give your takes, and yeah, I think your breakdown and your analysis is really spot on too. So yeah, man, thanks a lot for jumping on, bro. Appreciate you.
Yes,
Yeah, and
sir.
if you guys are
Likewise.
listening, Japan goes one more layer. I don't know if you heard it during his takes. He goes one layer deeper than most people. And taking into account the coaches, who's in the corner, how each person is, there's a lot of angles here that are hard to read that I feel like Japan has a really good handle on. So highly recommend following him on his own Twitter, Japan_9, is it?
5.
5, sorry.
No, you're
That's why I
good. Thank
couldn't
you.
find your
It's all
username the
good.
other day.
Yes, sir.
Oh man,
Uh,
I appreciate it. Any last closing thoughts before we move on to NHL?
I would also like to thank Japan as well too, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Go sell some cars, brother.
Oh,
Alrighty.
oh wait, can I
Yeah.
clarify something for the audience for this White House thing? 'Cause I know I've talked to buddies not watch UFC as much, and they were asking about the White House thing. So I want to clarify to the audience that the people that actually are allowed on the lawn are just military, the people that the president invites, and then Dana White and Ari from TKO and UFC are able to invite 200 people. So there's going to be 40 people on the lawn. The other people have to be outside the White House. And then the two for the main event for Alex Pereira and Seal Gain, they're going to be walking out of the Oval Office. So there's not going to be civilians on the White House, guys. I'm clarifying that to the audience.
Yeah, I try to stay out of all that stuff. I don't really care. I'm just looking forward to watching some good fights, and that's all we do as a sports show, right? Ideally. Although we are going to talk about Iran a little bit later in our show, specifically related to the World Cup. Don't get worried, guys. All right, NHL. Prince, bring us in. We have a banger of a series going on in the NHL along with the NBA. I mean, what, you give the advantage to the home team, right? What do we got?
Yeah. So we got Game 5 tonight, right? The series tied up 2-2 apiece. Look, guys, I've been non-committal on a side this whole series. I'm gonna continue to do that. But what I am gonna continue also to do is play the overs. Over 5.5 is hit every single game. We're gonna go again and attack it one more time. So give me the over 5.5 in this one. I got it minus 150 last night. I'm not sure where the price is now, but in any case, it's hit every game. So I'm gonna continue to ride it. Give you the Knights Hurricanes over 5.5. What probably is going to be yet another high scoring game, is what I would assume, in my opinion.
I'm just gonna say, put $1, just $1 on the first period, and I think this is the best prices on Bet365. That's where I did it. First period under 1.5, parlayed with the over 5.5 in the full game. Get a nice little plus money payout. Not an official play, but personally recommended. I think that they come out slower, but that by no means that it will be a lower scoring game. Not a single game, like Prince mentioned, has gone under so far. Right, Prince? How do you feel about that little fun little
Yeah.
sprinkle?
Yeah, that's a nice little sprinkle. Yeah, that's an interesting way, another way to play it as well. I'm on board.
Yeah, I did, for full transparency, play the over 5.5 for a full unit as well. Just put an extra little dollar on it, just for fun. Drew, any thoughts in the NHL?
Yes, I actually have a player prop. We're gonna go Nikolaj Ehlers. I think that's I said his name right. 3+ shots on goal. This is 2-2 in this series, but he's at least had 2 shots of goal each game this series. He's been excellent. I believe in game one he had a couple goals, and then another game he had a goal and like 2 assists. He's been their lightning rod kind of in a way for the Hurricanes. And I think to get 3+ shots on goal for him at -115 is really good value, especially I think last game he had like 4. So I like this value play.
Gosh, this is like the soccer plays all over again. Who is it?
Nikolaj Eller, so NICOLAJ Yeah.
All right, -109 over
Hockey
on
names are
Caesars,
crazy in
minus
a good way.
110 over on MGM. Yeah, it's so hard to like try to remember the names, especially when they're not from, well, I guess most of the Western world, where our names have been dumbified over the last 250 years. Anyway, all right, where are we going next, Prince? You want to go to soccer? We got World Cup.
Yes,
We could
sir.
spend a whole heck of a lot of time on this.
I'll try not to. But yeah, we are finally there, guys. World Cup is debuting today. World Cup 2026 kicking off this afternoon. Of course, we gave those plays out yesterday for the matches today. So if you want those plays, hey, gonna have to find a listen to our podcast from yesterday. But I'll go ahead and give the plays that we have for tomorrow, and then I'm gonna give a couple plays over the weekend since we don't have a weekend show. And I'll also give one play for Monday since I like to give. I'm gonna try to give plays out at least a day or two before, so that way our podcast listeners on the replay have enough time to get these plays in rather than giving them 1 or 2 hours like we usually do. So since we have the opportunity, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So we're looking at the tomorrow slate here. This is the Friday slate. We have Canada taking on Bosnia as a 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff again on Friday. What I landed on here, I'm going to take Canada Bosnia over 2 goals. I think we're getting at a very playable price here at -150 again. That is my limit for show plays on this show. But we're looking at Canada and Bosnia. Let's look at Bosnia first. Bosnia is a team that very much likes to play attacking style. The problem is they're just not very good at it. That's why they kind of struggle in Europe. But they do play a relatively aggressive style of soccer here. And same with Canada. Canada comes from, again, I talked about this before. Their head coach, Jesse Marsh, is a former coach within the Red Bull organization, which we've talked about Red Bulls before. That whole umbrella of soccer teams typically play a very high press, very ultra aggressive offensive style of soccer. But it's a style that creates a ton of volume in terms of scoring chances. And so I think Canada here against a subpar Bosnian defensive side should be able to score goals. But I also think Bosnia, with their attack, should also be able to score goals. So you could play both teams to score if you wanted to, at a little bit better of a price. I'm not sure if we necessarily see Bosnia score because they are heavily reliant on a 40-year-old Edin Dzeko who has scored 80% of their goals over the last several years. So because of that reason, I'm going to kind of hesitate from the BTTS, but I do like the over 2 here. We'll play it safe. We'll get push insurance in case there's only 2 goals. We're going to get that at -150. Motion, I'm going to rip through these plays, and then I'll get your thoughts on anything here at the end of it. But next up here, the big one, right? The one we're all waiting for tomorrow night. United States of America taking on Paraguay, 9 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Look, you can't trust this USA defense. You just cannot. They're just very suspect, not only on the defensive side, but also in goalkeeping. This is probably the worst goalkeeping situation we've had, maybe in the last 30 years. Not really confident in our goalkeeper, no matter who it is. And so for that reason, I think Paraguay is likely to score in this match. However, having said that, as bad as U.S. has looked defensively, I think they've looked pretty solid offensively. So I also expect U.S. to score in this one. So what I land on here, U.S. Paraguay, both teams to score at +105. I think getting plus money for that is a pretty good price for a team again that has been playing very attacking under Pochettino. They're playing a very more progressive style than maybe in years past, and so I think we're likely to see both teams score in this one. You could play maybe both teams scoring over 2.5 if you wanted to. I worry about that because Paraguay at times can be pretty solid defensively. I don't know if we get to 3 goals in this one, but again, this is more of a fade on U.S.'s defense than anything else. So I'll take U.S. Paraguay, both teams to score at +105. And then as we're looking over the weekend slate here, we're going to cover one match on Saturday, one match on Sunday. And again, guys, a quick plug here. If you guys want the rest of my plays, every single play for every single match in the World Cup, you're going to have to head over to my VIP channel. You can DM me at Principix10 on X. Follow my page over there. There's a pin post on that profile that tells details on basically what the channel is about. But I'll tell you guys now, it's just $5. $5 to join. That's for every single play in the World Cup, including the knockout stages, including live plays delivered to you in real time directly to your phone. So those are plays that I think you guys are going to want to have, and I think it's going to be a good investment for you guys. You can cancel after the World Cup if you don't like it, but I think you'll enjoy the investment again. Cheaper than a cup of coffee. It turns out to be about $1 a week. So I think it's a well worth your investment to get every single play here in the World Cup. But having said that, let's get back to the show here. Official play for Saturday. Looking at Brazil taking on Morocco. I like both teams to score in this one, -105. I think you have two teams very offensively gifted, defensively maybe a little bit suspect. Brazil, of course, not the team that they have been in years past. They're still a very good team, but they're just not the dominant team that people have looked at in years prior. But having said that, I think they absolutely can score a goal against Morocco. Morocco on the other side, a very up and coming team, right? Made it to the semifinals of the World Cup last year, and they've just been on a run ever since. This team has been by far the best team in Africa, and I think they're definitely going to put up a fight here against Brazil. I actually like them to win this group. Side note here, guys, is a little bit of a futures bet, but I'm going to take Brazil, Morocco, both teams to score. You're going to get that at -105. And then looking at Sunday's slate here, this one might be my favorite play of all. We got a 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Germany going to be taking on lowly Curacao. Pray for Curacao in this one. I think the Germans run up the score against Curacao. I cannot see a way where Curacao is going to be even remotely competitive. They have never played a country with the talent of Germany in the history of their own country. And so I think Germany absolutely routs them here. I think goals are going to be necessary in this one for goal differential, right? Every team in this group is going to look at Curacao as the whipping boys, and every team is going to want to put up a ton of goals for goal differential in case there's any tiebreakers. One of the tiebreakers is goal differential. So I think Germany fully incentivized, fully motivated. First game of the World Cup. They're going to hammer this Curacao team. Give me Germany on a -3.5 spread. You're going to get that at -105. They very well might cover this in the first half alone. I really can't see any way for Curacao to be competitive in this one. We're looking at Curacao in their recent friendlies: 2-0 loss to China, 5-1 loss to Australia, 4-1 loss to Scotland. And they played Aruba at home in a send-off match in which they were tied 0-0 at the half with Aruba. Germany coming off a 4-0 win against Finland. Of course, a 2-1 win against the United States. I know some people are kind of out on Germany in terms of the World Cup chances, but you're talking about Curacao here. This is just middle school against high school varsity here. It's just not on the same level. So Germany -3.5, one of my favorite plays of the group stage. You're going to get that -105. Then finally here, going to the Monday slate, one game that I'm looking at here is the aforementioned Iran. As Moshe mentioned, we do have Iran, 9 p.m. Eastern kickoff on Monday night, taking on New Zealand. Look, a lot of stuff surrounding Iran. We're not going to get into that, right, politically, but I think it could go one of two ways. Either it could divide the team, or it could galvanize the team here and bring them together. I think that's what it's going to do. I think the team's going to pull stronger together, having fought through a lot of adversity that they're fighting through. Things to bring this team closer together. And quite frankly, they're just a better team than New Zealand. New Zealand has not looked particularly great in their friendlies here leading up to the World Cup. They're coming off a 4-0 loss to Haiti. So this is just a New Zealand side that anytime they get out of Oceania, they tend to struggle. And I think Iran has enough quality here to get over the line against New Zealand. It's a game that Iran really must win if they want any chances of getting out of the group. So we can keep this one simple. Give me Iran on the money line against New Zealand. That comes in at -120. Moshe, let me catch my breath. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the Iran one is actually the only one that I might disagree with slightly. I'm going the other direction on that. If I'm looking at your other plays, I love Morocco, both teams to score. I took Morocco money line at +500 as a potential look, and I love USA Paraguay, both teams to score as well. I also sprinkled Paraguay money line +300. Yeah, we've got a lot of good matches coming up. I'm very excited. The only one I'll mention here on the first round here, I think Japan on the money line is also a really good look, +270. Yeah, that's going to be it for me. Obviously, we have talked about it in the last week on our different games and different plays that we were kind of looking at. But I tend to think that with all the trouble that Iran is in right now, the fact that they're only going to be able to come in for the day of the match itself. They're flying in and flying out of Mexico, which is the closest place to where they're going to be playing. I think it's in Houston, if I'm correct, if I'm not mistaken.
It's in LA.
It's in LA, or it's still pretty close to Mexico. There certain a lot of their coaches, team members are not going to be able to be coming along for the trip. They're being denied visa entries. I just don't see them being at full strength or being fully focused. And I'm not willing to back them on the money line, I guess, is the only team that I really I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of going the other way.
I get you, and then you totally make sense, and those points are valid. The only pushback that I would have, and not necessarily pushback, but maybe caveat, if this team was a young team, I'd be more inside with what you're saying. But this team is very experienced. This team has been through a lot of World Cups. This team has been through a lot of adversity. They've played together for a long time. So with that being said, that's the only reason I think they'll be able to push through this. I think, like you said, if it was a younger team that doesn't have the experience, doesn't really know each other, it might be too much for them. But I think this team, more of a veteran team, played together, played in World Cups, been through a lot of different adversity, both politically and on the soccer field. I tend to think that they'll be able to push through it. I think that'll bring them closer together, and we'll see if they're able to perform at a high level. But it's I can see your point either, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk about one promo that is available on DK. We talked about it yesterday. It's the up one promo on DK. So if your team goes up by 1, you cash. What are you looking at as a potential? I guess it's only on USA versus.
Yeah, it's only on USA versus Paraguay. That's the only one that promo's on.
I'll tell you what I did, but do you have any recommendations on that play? Is that something that you're going to be taking advantage of?
I am going to take advantage of it. I'll be honest. I still haven't decided which way I want to go for the promo, because and I think for everyone, I think it might be a different max bet. For me, it's 25. I'm capped at 25 for that promo. So I'll either be putting 25 on US or Paraguay. Basically what this is, guys, it's a which team is going to score first. They're wording it as a team that goes up 1-0, but it really, like in your books, there's always a bet in every single game for which team to score first. So that's what this is essentially, is which team is going to score first. And so I haven't really decided yet, but I do think with me and Moshe were talking about it, I think there's obviously an opportunity here to cash out on both sides, right? So if you think Paraguay is going to score first, you can use the promo on Paraguay, and then on another book, because you can't use it on the same book. If you use it on the same book, a lot of times they'll disqualify the promo. So you'd have to go to another book. But on another book, you could play or US on a double chance, right? So you can pick Paraguay to score first. They go up 1-0. And then as long as USA scores and avoids a defeat, you would cash out both sides, essentially. So that's definitely something that I know I'm looking at. I know Moshe's looking at too. For me, I just haven't decided yet which side I want to play the promo on. Who is going to score first? Honestly, as I look at it right now, this U.S. defense is so suspect. I would not be shocked if Paraguay ends up scoring first, and getting them at, I think it's like plus 350, plus 360 right now for basically that value. That's probably where the smart money is, but I haven't decided yet fully.
Yep. So here's what I did. This is how I was looking at it. First of all, it does matter how much you're able to bet on this promo. If it's, I would say 10, 15, 20 bucks, 25 bucks or less, I'm just going to say put it on Paraguay. I do not. I've already personally played Paraguay on the money line directly at plus 350. So that's one. Now, if it's like $100, like it is for me, and I already played Paraguay on the money line, I wanted to attack it differently. So what I did was I put the $100 on DK on USA money line minus 110, and then I went to Caesars and grabbed Paraguay double chance at minus 113. So what I'm essentially doing is risking 20% of my total bet to win, for a chance to win twice. So if USA scores 1 and then Paraguay comes back, ties it, or wins it, I cash nicely. If USA wins directly, I'll lose about 20% of my original bet, which I'm okay with for winning twice. So that's just kind of how I was looking at it. It's a betting strategy called middling. I've been attempting to play around with different betting strategies in the last few weeks. I think Prince has enjoyed my my wild theories and different games and ways that I'm attacking it. I always try to find something fun. But anyway, that's how I am looking at it. I think that there's a lot of value in it. If you want to go the other way, you would end up putting, if you have, let's say Prince has a $25 bonus, you would put $25 on Paraguay, and then you would put roughly around $100 on USA double chance. And that way, if you're losing about $10, $15, about 20%, if one of them wins and you don't win it both, but you have the chance to win both, so why not?
Yeah,
Right?
it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth the risk. Yeah, that's a small risk that you're taking in order to get a double, basically a double cash out here.
Yeah. Like you only, again, if you think about it percentage wise, you only need it to hit every 4-5 times in order for it to be profitable. That's really what it comes down to. All right. Anything else in the World Cup today? Drew, any facts of the day? Prince, any other things that you're looking at? I'm so excited. I'm about to go turn on at my work, the Fox channel, which is going to have the pregame ceremony starting in about an hour.
Yes, I'm going to be tuning into that too as well. No, like I said, I've got a ton of plays for soccer. I've got live plays. I've got player props. I've got future props. The VIP channel has been busting here, booming with plays. So again, if you guys want more of those plays, head on over there. Like I said, it's just $5. I think it'll be worth your investment. Try it out for a month. See how it goes.
All right. Let's talk PGA. Brian Liberati came onto our show yesterday. Big shout out to him.
Oh, I have a
Ex-PGA.
World Cup fact. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Drew, go on.
Yeah, perfect. We have honestly, I find this one pretty interesting. Of course, we know there's dominant teams in Europe, like Germany, Netherlands, Italy, and France. But besides those four, there's only been two countries that have made the World Cup final twice, besides excluding Germany, Netherlands, Italy, and France. Hungary made it in 1938 and 1954, and Czechoslovakia or Czechia made it in 1934 and 1962. So the dominance of European teams usually come from those four countries, and I found that interesting that the last two teams were like back in the 30s and 60s.
Wow, that's a nice little fact there. Prince, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, that is amazing. I mean, I think we've had what is it, 8 countries that have won the World Cup in total, I believe. I think it's like 8 or 9 or something like that for countries in total. Which, by the way, on that I think about it, that does bring me to another bet that I've been looking at. There's a market out there for a first time World Cup winner, either yes or no, and I think yes is at plus 200 or something like that, depending on the different book. That's something that I've got my eye on. I've been really trying to, I've been going back and forth on it, but I'm kind of leaning towards maybe sprinkling that, just because I think this World Cup is so unique with the amount of teams that are playing. I think there's a lot more opportunities for banana peels, right? For maybe some upsets for some teams that you wouldn't expect in sports. You have an extended round of knockout play as well, where you usually go to the round of 16. Now you have a round of 32. So it's another place where you might see some bigger teams slip up. And plus the weather conditions. I'm kind of looking at like, we talked about Japan, we talked about Norway, looking at maybe like a Colombia, Ecuador. I think there's even Portugal. A lot of people like Portugal to go very far. I think there's a handful of teams that could definitely win the World Cup that haven't won the World Cup yet. So that is something I might end up giving out officially here at some point. I know we're starting the World Cup today, so I don't know much more time I have, but something I'm very looking closely at. I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know
don't
that's kind of a random grenade question that I didn't really give you a chance to prep for, but just
Sorry,
off the top of your head, if you.
repeat the question again. Sorry.
All right. So the question is, are we going to see a first-time World Cup winner?
Oh,
Yes or no?
yeah. Sorry. Because I was thinking about trying to relay it back to a different bet that you kind of mentioned before, which I also like, which would be the quickest scoring goal under, it was like 113 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, over 53 seconds.
I think percentage wise, it makes sense that a new World Cup winner from a new country should win it, simply because you're expanding 20% more teams. So the variability gets increased dramatically. That's how I see it. It's just a numbers game.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of my thinking too. So okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, if I end up giving it out officially, I'll publish it on the socials.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking about the 53 seconds or whatever it was, which I am very. It was kind of like Drew's March Madness bet. Will there be a buzzer beater or not? It's just a
Yeah,
fun little
it's a
sprinkle
fun
that you
one.
get to.
Yeah, that one in
Which,
the
by the way,
yeah.
we hit in the second round. Just saying.
Yeah, of course we did. Yeah, that's a fun one. That one and the own goals one. We need over 10 own goals
Oh
in
yeah,
the
that was a
tournament.
good one. That was a
Yeah,
good
those are
10.
fun ones.
Over 10,
Over 10.
right?
Yep, over 10 own goals. Let's go Curacao. Let's go Cape Verde. Let's go Qatar. All the all the bottom feeders. Get some own goals. Let's rack that total up.
So if Caruso scores on themselves, does it count as Caruso scoring?
Yeah, you know
No, I'm
what?
just
Oh
kidding.
man,
The answer is
oh god, I hope not. Yeah, otherwise my Curacao to not score is screwed. But
I have like 25 to 50 bets going on for these World Cup games,
yeah,
all sorts of
same.
things, futures. You go back and you don't even have to listen to the whole podcast. We have input them into all the Substack articles that this show gets published on, and you can go back and see all the bets that Prince has made over the last month preparing for the World Cup.
Yeah,
Highly recommend just sprinkling a little bit.
yeah.
I personally put a half unit on each one of them. I know Prince is putting a little bit less necessarily. I think you said 0.1.
Yeah, I want to talk about
But
that.
either way, it's worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, I want to just talk about that real quick because, guys, we do have a high volume of plays. You know, this isn't monopoly money, right? We work hard for this money that we're betting. So I'm not saying, I don't want to recommend everyone to bet, a whole lot on these futures, right? A lot of things can happen. They're futures bets. So they're a high payout for a reason. So, play like for me, I play 10th of a unit. That's what I play at all futures. It's the same thing. I play 10th of a unit no matter what it is. Just sprinkles, nothing crazy. We don't want to empty the bankroll on these futures.
100%. All right, let's get into the PGA. This tournament is going off in about 40 minutes, I want to say. The 3-ball matchup, which is you can find over on DK from our main man, Brian Liberati, who has dramatically increased our listeners. So thank you very much, Brian. Looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday, I think is the day that he's going to be on fairly regularly. So we're going to get him acclimated, put his bets into our spreadsheets and start getting that data out to you guys. But for today, he has 2 3-ball matchups. So this is a DK, go to matchups, go to 3-ball matchups. You should be able to find it. Basically, it takes all rounds, or every single person gets paired with 2 other people to go off today. And you can choose 2 of those 3 players to play off each other, and whoever finishes with the lowest score wins for the day. First one, Brooks Koepka over Ryan Fox, -136 over on DK. They're all on DK. I don't know why I have to repeat that. This goes off at 12:48, so this is actually going off in just about 20 minutes. Highly recommend getting this in. Brooks Koepka has a very upward trajectory, while Ryan Fox has not. I do expect Koepka to have a really good finish overall. If you were listening to yesterday's show, I believe Brian also had Koepka in the top 10 market, including ties at +400. The second matchup that he has is Alex Fitzpatrick over Robert McIntyre. This is at +100. I also agree with this. This is a misprice. Alex Fitzpatrick is playing out of his mind right now. He is a lot of people's one and done options. If you don't know what that is, basically you pick one golfer every single week, and you calculate. You get a bunch of money depending on when they finish and whatever. It's a whole thing. But the point is, many respected experts expect Alex Fitzpatrick to have an excellent tournament in line with his recent form. This is a very good course fit for him. All over Alex Fitzpatrick to win it. First round leader, everything that you can name, I have sprinkled on Alex Fitzpatrick. So getting him at +100 over Robert McIntyre, I think, is just a gift of a price. Last one here. This is going to be a sprinkle. The other 2 plays were full units. He said sprinkle. I said quarter unit. I don't know what's real, but he's going to take a top 20, including ties parlay with Brooks Koepka and Alex Fitzpatrick for +460, also on DK. Just a few golf sprinkles to throw in there. Highly recommend following them. What was his record last week, Prince?
Yeah, he ended up going 5-3 overall. There were two of the plays he didn't give us that ended up winning, but had he given us those, he would have gone 5-3. And he said, yeah, I mean, all his tickets win. I mean, he has winning every single tournament. He has winning tournaments. So he's truly unbelievable. He's such a great capper.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to know him more and more. It looks like he was receptive of having just nice little conversations with us, so that's fun. Definitely appreciate him and Japan coming on today. Hopefully we can get them on regularly along with some other guest stars. If you guys know anybody or want to come on yourself, definitely request to speak. Now is the time. Prince, what are we going to next? Any other sports? We covered basketball, NBA, and WNBA. We covered NHL, MLB, PGA, UFC. Is there anything that I'm missing?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Wow, what a show. This was a fun show. All right, Prince, you got a question of the day? Anything light and breezy?
I got to do a better job of preparing for these. No, I always forget to find one. I don't have one off the top of my head. If you want to go to Drew, maybe he has one. Give me a minute here to think.
Drew, I do have one in case you don't, but do you have any question of the days that you want to get off your chest?
Oh no, you can go ahead.
All righty. What would you prefer? I don't know why. Maybe I just found this, but I guess what is your favorite sport that you don't play or can't play?
That's easy for me. It's got to be golf. Yeah, I really like golf. I mentioned before I'm terrible at golf. I cannot get it down for the life of me. I don't know. I just don't have good hand-eye coordination. I think, which is weird because I'm actually decent at tennis, but golf I just can't get it. But I really like it. Like I like the competitiveness of it, competing against yourself, competing against your own score. You don't need anybody else except just yourself, a ball, a club, and a hole, right? So I like that part of it. And I've just been always really fascinated just by the ambiance in golf. It's kind of peaceful. Like it's another. A lot of people like fishing. I compare it to fishing, right? Where you just kind of it's you and yourself and the course, right? Whereas in fishing, it's you and the lake, right? So I think there's a lot of similarities between that. People who like fishing, people like golf. I'm not a fisher myself, but I do like golf. But I'm just terrible at it.
Drew, I can go next if you want a little bit more time.
What was the question exactly again?
What was the sport that you don't really or can't really play so well, but you love to watch?
Oh, I'll let you go first because I need to think about that.
Or would love to play? Either one. I don't know. It was basically the same question. I'm going to say soccer. I cannot keep up with the demands physically of running all the time on a soccer field. Absolutely love watching it. Would love to be able to play it. I know I understand the game fairly well. I would say at least average, right? Especially if you're considering the US audience. I love the buildups. I love the schemes. I love the passing, the precision. Just never quite got it there for me. Didn't really grow up playing it so much. But the few times that I did, I remember just being gassed, unable to keep up with the lighter, smaller players. I'm 6'2", 230. It's not so easy for me to keep up with small people or anybody. I was playing softball this past Sunday, and I hit a double, and my little brother, who's 20, skinny little thing, very fast, he I think he was on first base, and someone hit like a really far ball, and I was running around the bases as fast as I could, and the little guy was running right behind me, and I outdid myself, gassed myself for the rest of the game. Still have pain in my legs trying to run that fast. Anyway, Drew, what do you got?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I played soccer, of course, majority of my life up until like after college. And I always say this: I played in multiple sports, and soccer is the most demanding. I've always been the person to have like crazy stamina. I played goalie, midi. They put me at midi because I was a psycho kid where I would have limited energy. And then during high school, I was a goalie. So that was fun stuff. But I would say a sport I love watching that I would love to play, couldn't get with demands, is hockey. I don't know how to skate. I can never learn how to skate. And the idea that these guys are skating while getting hit is very impressive. And I would love to be able to do that and be able to, just like, I know getting hit is not going to be fun, but I think it would be fun if you know how to skate and you can play hockey. I think it would be a very fun competitive environment. to play, especially with how passionate the fans are in there and how much they love you, and the idea that it's very good like camaraderie there. It just seems like an overall fun like locker room. I would say though it's extremely exhausting and stuff in that manner. But if I knew how to skate in that, I would love that.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. Fun story also. So I went to a summer camp growing up. I must have been 12, 13, I don't know, young. And it was one of those leagues where, or I guess camps where they just do whatever they can. They don't really have a lot of equipment, but you pull it together. So there was a hockey league, foot like pavement. And obviously there was no protection gear or anything. So we used to use mitts, baseball mitts in the goalie, right? And I was always playing baseball, but the goalie got injured right before the final game of the championships for the team that I was supposed to be playing on, but I never got a chance because I was always playing baseball. And they brought me in, right, because they had absolutely nobody else. And I only played one game, but I made like 7 or 8 crazy saves. One MVP prevented them from, I think they only scored once. We scored like 3 or 4. And we ended up winning, and I got the MVP award, despite the fact that I had never played hockey before that game. And I don't think I've ever played hockey since that game.
That's the mark of a true athlete right there.
Oh man, it was fun. I mean, to be fair, I was much bigger, much more physically advanced than the majority of people my age. I was 6 foot something when I was 13. I was just it just was my family's built different than most people, especially if you're going to compare that against, the other people in my community. It just wasn't a very big community. Most people were smaller than me. All right. That was a fun show. I really enjoyed this today. Looking forward to watching World Cup, watching day baseball. We got games going off in 20 minutes. So we got golf going off in about 8 minutes. So definitely got to get these picks in. Let's recap our best bets. Drew, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, for sure. I have Mill Kelly under 7.5 outs at plus 100, and then Nikolaj Eller 3+ shots on goal at minus 110.
Love it. I got the Dodgers minus 1.5 plus 105 over on MGM. I have a 2-leg parlay for 0.75 units. Cardinals Mets parlayed with the Rangers Royals over 7.5 plus 105. Like I said, 0.75 units, a little less. PGA, we have Brian Liberati, 3-ball matchup, round 1. Brooks Koepka over Ryan Fox minus 136. Alex Fitzpatrick over Robert McIntyre plus 100. Little sprinkle on a top 20 finish, including ties Brooks Koepka and Alex Fitzpatrick for plus 460. Prince, close us out, brother.
Yep. Excuse me. Yeah, guys. So in the WNBA, I'm going to take the Dallas Wings and the Las Vegas Aces, both on the money line as a parlay at minus 110. We're also going to take the Aces and the Portland Fire over 172.5, again at minus 110. In the NHL Stanley Cup tonight, give me the Knights Hurricanes, once again over 5.5 goals. Get that around minus 150. On the pitch tomorrow, in the World Cup, we're going to take Canada, Bosnia, over 2 goals at minus 150. We're also going to be taking the United States and Paraguay, both teams to score at plus 105. Looking at the Saturday slate here in the World Cup, give me Brazil, Morocco, both teams to score at minus 105. Looking at the slate for Sunday's World Cup, I will take Germany minus 3.5 against Curacao at minus 105. And then looking at the World Cup slate for Monday, I'm going to be taking Iran on the money line against New Zealand. That comes in at minus 120. That's going to do it, guys, for our Thursday edition of the OnlyBets Sports Podcast. For Drew DeLucchi, Stern Bets on the Prince of Picks. Shout out to Japan for joining us with his great MMA, UFC coverage and best bets. We'll be back again tomorrow live on X at OnlyBets Podcast, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Catch us there. Hope you guys have a great afternoon. Catch out these tickets, and we'll talk to you all then. Thank you.